Welcome to Google Tutorials. And today in tutorial number 6, we'll be looking at Google Forms Basics. And I'd like to call this part 1 of the Google Forms Pentology. It's going to take a few of our tutorials to get through all of this, at least if I want to keep them in the 10 to 15 minute range, and that's what I'm going to try to do. So this will be the first one, and this will be the basics. And there's quite a few things we'll be going through, even in this the short 10 to 15 minute range. But basically, this will get you started with Google Forms and get you to learn how to create a basic form. Then we'll go on to the more advanced stuff in the next tutorial. So one of the first things that we need to do is we need to get to Google Forms. Now, one of the things that, one of the ways, I guess, that I like to get to Google Forms is to simply go into the browser, in the browser address bar here, and type in forms.google.com. If I do that, it pops me right into Google Forms. There are other ways to get to it. For example, in Google Drive, I can go to New, click on More, and then click on Forms, and that can take me right to a new form if that's what I want to do. And I can also click on this guy here and get a blank form or from template. But forms.google.com is a really nice place to go when you're starting off, and it kind of lets you see all of your forms as they are there. I'm going to click on blank because I want to create a blank one. There are some templates that you can browse here. There are, for example, templates for exit tickets and that sort of thing that will get you going right away. Quick, simple exit tickets. But I'm just going to start with a blank form, not in the templates, but you can certainly browse through these at some point. So click on blank, and now I've got a blank form. And I'm going to create what kind of like an introductory form for students in a class. I always used to use these kinds of things when I taught in the past, where I'd like to find out a little bit more about students, what kinds of things they did, what kind of things they enjoyed, what were some of their hobbies, that sort of thing. So that's what we're going to create. So first I'm going to call this Introduction Information Form. Now, that may not be a great name, but you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to give this a description. I'm going to call this a form that will tell me a little bit, pardon me, about you. So this is kind of like when I had new students that I hadn't taught before. It was kind of a nice way to get to know them. Now, introduction information form, I need that. That's the title of my form, but if I want to title the actual file, I'm going to click up here, and that pops that in there for me so I don't have to worry about that. So one of the first things I want to do is create a name question. I want to know what the student's name is. There are other ways that I'll teach you later on about how to collect a student's name, but in this basic form, this is what you want to do. Now you'll notice when I click on here, click on this question, I've got all of my options over here for different question types, but it starts with multiple choice. Well, Google's pretty smart. It does a lot of artificial intelligence. So if I just type in name here and put a question mark, it's actually going to change that to a short answer for me. That's really cool. It saves me a little bit of time. It knows that probably I want a short answer for the question name. I could go back into here and change it to something else if I wanted to, but that's exactly what I want, is name. That's perfect. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click the plus sign. And my next question is now going to be, what grade are you in? Hit the question mark, and Google goes to the multiple choice and sticks with the multiple choice because I only want to choose one of these. So I'm going to put a few in here. I'm just going to put grade 7. I'm going to put grade 8. I'm going to put grade 9. So just some middle year students here and leave it at that. So now I have a nice little multiple choice. Multiple choice means, by the way, I can only choose one of those. Well, now I'm going to ask, I want to know a little bit about my students. I'm going to ask them what kind of sports they like. So what sports do you like? Now in this case, I don't want a multiple choice. I want something that's going to give me multiple, they can choose multiple options. So what sports do you like? I don't want that to be a multiple choice. I want that to be checkboxes. So I just click on there like that and choose checkboxes. And my first one I'm going to put in here, volleyball, and then I'm going to put basketball, badminton, hockey, soccer, and let's go track and field. Great. So now I've got 3 questions, and I have a multiple choice, and I have a checkbox, and I have a name as well. Great. So what if I want to see what this looks like? Well, if I want to see what this looks like, I just click on the eyeball up here. That little eyeball is a preview. I click on the preview, and it shows me what my form looks like. So I have short answer, I have what grade are you in, and I have what sports do you like. Great. I'm going to close this now because I don't want to fill that out just now. And it takes me back to the tab that I was in. When I click on the eyeball, it opens up a new tab. When I close it, it takes me back to that tab. I'm going to add one more question. And that one question is, tell me a bit about yourself. And Google smartly decides that I want to use a paragraph there. Perfect. So I now have a long answer. So students can give me a little bit more about here, but maybe I want to give them a little bit of a hint. Maybe I want them to tell me, hey, you know what? I need something here. They might not know what I'm looking for. So that's where I can go into these 3 dots here, and I can show a description. Click on that, and I can say here in the description, please let me know something about yourself. You can tell me if you live in the country or in town, or maybe some other interesting bit of information. Boy, I can't spell information very well. And there we have a long answer. Now, if I click on this again, the eyeball, I get to see I've now got a longer answer. Great. So there'll be some times that you want to get rid of a question. Maybe you don't like a question and you don't want it anymore. If I want to delete a question, I just click on the question and then hit the trash can right there, and it will delete it. Or maybe I want to copy a question. If I want to copy from what sports do you like, I want to have exactly the same question. And I just click duplicate. And it will make exactly the same question as I had what sports do you like. So now I could type in here. Instead, I'm going to change this. What is your favorite sport? And change that to multiple choice, and now it becomes a multiple choice question. So it saves me all the time of typing in volleyball, basketball, badminton, hockey, and soccer over and over again. So now I've got what sports do you like and what is your favorite sport. Great, I've got a little more information here. And maybe I don't care if I get all of the information here, but I need to know some of the information. So maybe I need to know name. And in order to get that as an absolute, I'm just going to click on the next to the 3 dots, I should say, this little guy right here that says required. Click on that, and now this will become a required question. They must answer it. Maybe I need to know their grade. I'm going to make that required as well. So now when I click on the eyeball to view this, name is required and grade is required. So now they cannot answer this. Here's my name. I'm going to skip that and go down. I like basketball, hockey, and soccer. And my favorite is basketball. Tell me a little about yourself. I'm a TIS manager. What else do you really need to know about me? And I click on submit, and whoop, it says this question is required because I said it was required. All right, I'm in grade 9. Great. I click submit. And it says it's been recorded. Great. Now, if I go back here, we'll see I already have one response. Just like that, I've had a response to my form because I just submitted one. I'll show you all about how to look at those responses in a later tutorial. I won't look into them right now, but you can see that it already makes graphs for me and tells me all of my responses, which is pretty cool. So the last thing I'm going to show you before I call this tutorial to an end, is I'm going to show you how you can rearrange these things. What if I want a little bit about yourself at the top? I want it right after name. Great. I just go and click. When I hover over, I see these little 6 dots here. I click on the 6 dots, I get the 4 arrows like that, and then I just drag this all the way to the top until I have it where I want it, and then I just let it go right there after name, and now it's the second question. So I can really easily reorder those questions. So there you go. We learned how to make different question types. We learned about the short answer, about the long answer, about the multiple choice, and about the checkboxes. We learned how to delete questions, how to make questions required, how to copy questions, and then finally how to reorder questions. So there you go, Google Forms tutorial number 1.